Welcome back to the channel. This is Matt Eagle for Eagle AI Agency. You can see my links all over the place. But what we're going to be talking about today is the main impact that you can make on your business when it comes to revenue. So, my background, I've been in sales now for a decade. I've worked with multiple companies now, whether it's staffing industry, whether it's the high ticket space, whether it's marketing, as well as now working as a fractional sales and AI partner to a lot of recruiting firms and sales businesses and financing businesses. I like to talk about is just how do you make a true impact on revenue? What's the easiest ways to do it? If you're just getting started in business or you're having trouble getting revenue and you feel like pipeline is really kind of dipping and then coming back, there are three ways to make an impact on your business immediately. Depends on industry, but I think these are the top three. The first one is what does your outbound look like? Right. So your LinkedIn and email, that is the two ways to do it. Obviously, cold calling as well. But if you're not a big cold caller, a lot of business owners aren't salespeople. You don't have to cold call if you don't want to. There are predictable ways to be able to create a business with email and LinkedIn. The second way is a good CRM system and funnel, right? What are you funneling people into? And then what automations do you have set up on the back end to be able to track those incoming numbers and metrics on your website? People who are opting in, do you have a lead magnet? Are you actually connecting with people? If they're not opting into a meeting, and are you collecting that data so they can receive information, newsletters, everything else? The third one is paid ads, right? And I want to make sure I say this correctly. I do use paid ads, but the idea is that you want to be able to kind of learn what is your ICP first. So the underlying foundation to all of this stuff is how dialed in can you be to your ICP, the person you're actually trying to sell to. Okay. So really let's get very narrow to the ICP for a second. So if I was looking to sell to recruiting firms, there's a few things. So let's just go with my service in general. I just like to be transparent. Recruiting firms or sales organizations that are hiring salespeople but don't want to spend the money and they don't know if it works. So the service that I sell is I'm an AI account executive. So the studies have shown 67% has dropped off from the AI SDR full loop system. They realize that AI is not the solve and all and be all, like cold caller, outreacher, all that stuff. It doesn't do as well as people thought it would. But what's kind of coming on a comeback is someone who can utilize AI and be a good salesperson. So all the mundane tasks of sending out emails, doing all those back end CRM updates and scheduling posts and doing all that kind of stuff is still AI. But when it comes down to having a conversation with somebody and about value, it comes back to the salesperson, right? Having an actual salesperson who can hear tonality, who can actually connect, who can actually give value proposition based off current circumstance, so on and so forth, right? So when it comes to my ICP, what I'm looking for specifically in the market, and I use Apollo for this, and I use enrichment tools, is recruiting firms with open positions, right? Sales organizations with open positions, and targeting them and enriching the leads to verify email and then sending out targeted list emails to specific contacts to their company and to their position, right? So that's super important to know because that's a dialed in ICP. That is, I know exactly who I'm talking to. I know their pain point. I know that if I send them an email, I'm going to get a response back by somebody at a percentage, hopefully 4 or 5% return on open rate is over 75%, 5% of people saying yes, booking at least out of 1,000, hopefully 50 meetings. Out of 50 meetings, you close about a third of those. You have about 10 to 15 new deals, right? That's how you really dial in the email campaign. And then LinkedIn is very similar. LinkedIn is, I think, is the best because you can connect. They can see your background. They can see your face. They can see your posts, all that kind of stuff, right? So I think that's the number one focus is the outreach. With LinkedIn, it's so good because you can warm your audience up with the content that you have. You can create a newsletter so that people can understand your credibility. That's the biggest thing is do you have any credibility whatsoever? And then when you connect with them, be very specific. So enrichment lead automation, you can use Lucia, you can use a lot of other enrichment tools, but you can actually send a message to specific people that have been active on LinkedIn about a current position or about a certain pain point and actually dial in the message to be direct. But AI is doing all of that. You helped it research, you did all the stuff. I use Claude Code. Claude Code is hands on the best. It keeps getting better. It's amazing. So that's one way you make an impact. All right. The second way is a CRM. Are you capturing follow up? are you capturing all the data to be able to follow up with these folks who are actually interested? So the idea is you have a really good funnel. You can build a funnel within Go High Level. I use Go High Level, which is a great tool to build funnels, as many funnels as you want. I also use Claude Code to build websites. So if you check out my link, learn.eagleagency.ai, you'll actually see that that's actually built with my Claude Code, right? So you can build as many funnels as you want at very cheap cost, which is great. So now you're building a funnel, and the funnel, you want your AI to be trained on how do people leverage funnels and how are they designed first. So you evolve the MD file so that it actually becomes an expert in that field, and then it designs it for you, right? So it designed it for me and it deployed it for me. I created the video, I did everything, but the idea is it only took me 30 minutes to build my funnels. I have a ton of them. I have probably 5 separate websites now. I've built it in a week. So the funnel itself does lead capture and then setting and booking meetings, right? So your CRM should be able to set up confirmation emails. Should be able to set up follow-up emails. It should be able to have no-show recovery emails so that if someone misses the meeting and they're a no-show, they're getting an email immediately to rebook, right? And that increases the odds of you being able to have that meeting again with the follow-up, and the sequence follows up at least 2 or 3 times. Okay. So that CRM is another big gap that people are seeing in the market, and it really people fall through that. And the last one are paid ads. And I just saw somebody the other day talk about how if he could restart, would he build an organic presence and audience, which it's a lift. I'm doing it right now. It's a lift, right? So this is actually part of that too as well. Or would he do paid ads? And the idea is that if you can really dial in your ICP and you understand your target and your market and your placement, it's nothing against being able to put $15 to a meta ad and let it learn your algorithm and find and test new videos. Now, I'll tell you this, that it does burn money, right? It does burn money trying to figure that stuff out. So I would start slow, but it's a phenomenal, phenomenal way to start getting exposure and testing the market and seeing what you have works. Dan Martell talks about all the time. Don't build a prototype until you know there's a market for, right? So all of these things are testing market, the emails, the LinkedIn's, newsletters, the content, the feedback, your first customers, the referrals. You're going to have to really evolve your offer as the demand shows up. Right? You start with an idea, but the whole point is that at some point it evolves to a place where you're now actually meeting demand versus saying that there's a product. I love a book, I can't remember the book's name, but I digress. The quote really is this, is that don't build a product. Like it was pretty much saying the doctors, right, are bad salespeople because they will perfect the product over and over again. When they're finally finished, they'll try to sell it, but there's no market for it. So you got to reverse engineer what the market wants. Okay. So that you're actually finding a product that people want versus what you think they want. And so as these 3 things happen, those are the 3 things that I think will make an impact in the next 60, 90 days is the first impact that you can make. A lot of people think there's like a silver bullet, but the idea is that you just need to be consistent with the sequences of automation, having, I say, an executive assistant, right? I have 5 executive assistants, 5 agents run at the same time. One's for marketing, one's for email, one's for LinkedIn, one's for full loop system for customer delivery. So I have an AI assistant for every single customer that I have that actually answers questions based off of knowledge base of my actual company. So those are the things that I think are super important. If you're not using AI, as you can tell, if you're doing all of this on your own, you're going to be spending 60 to 80 hours. And if you're spending 60 to 80 hours on everything else like delivery or let's just say LinkedIn alone, you're missing all the capabilities that you have to be able to generate revenue, right? And now the biggest thing, the last part of this is hiring people. The first company that just went $1 billion with a single person was because of AI. They did it in a year. It became $1 billion company, OpenClaw. And it's because AI was able to leverage all of the activities as well as become agents as employers. And he became a billionaire and sold with one person in their company. So if you know how to leverage AI, you're not going to have to hire people on. You can just continue to automate workflows that work best in your schedule. It schedules posts, it does the marketing, it creates the tools. I just finished my first app, really excited. I'm probably going to do a video of it. I'm actually going to start doing paid ads for it. But it took me literally 1 hour to build this app with AI. It's an incredible thing. So for me to you, I want to continue to do these trainings just for like sales focused, like actual hardcore sales, like how do you understand sales, maybe like some cold calling strategies and some tools and how to all pull together. But I run an education system through Claude Code. Like, how do you leverage Claude Code as a small business owner? How do I actually start deploying these things to save me a ton of time? So I'm a fractional leader. So that means I work for 4 or 5 separate companies. It wouldn't be possible if I didn't leverage AI. I would be so swamped being a salesperson for 5 companies. So the idea is that AI has gave me the capability to actually work for 5 separate companies with AI alone, right? So what I would love to do, if anybody's actually looking to get in Claude Code, it's the number one tool. Manus is top two. Codex is great, and you want to understand how to become AI native so that you can actually start implementing this into your business. The top 3 ways you can make it today is create a CRM that's building all the follow up and sequencing so that you don't lose any prospects. LinkedIn outreach, which is not just 5 or 6 a day. I'm saying like 30, 40, 50 a day. Right, and then email, and then there you can go really crazy with email with separate domains. So if you're really, really interested, understand how Claude Code can actually do this for you. You can actually build agentic workflows, full on AI SDR reps. Just click the link below. Would love to connect with you. I am very opposed to hard selling. I always like to understand companies. What do they do? How can we actually impact them? Create a plan, maybe even build a funnel or two for free, create a website, maybe show them through the CRM, maybe get them a CRM for free and then show them through that. And then as you grow your capability in AI, what you'll be able to know is how to leverage AI with the particular CRM, with LinkedIn, with all these things. So whether you're looking for like sales professional, like to actually connect, drive results immediately, or just by the best practices in the last 10 years of sales, whether you had AI or not, or somebody that can leverage AI for sales, revenue generating activity, I think that I could help. So click the link below. Excited for the next episode. I'm excited to show the app to the entire community, and I'll see you on the next one.